Ancient history feels permanent. The Romans, the Egyptians, the Babylonians, we accept them as the bedrock of human civilization. But they function as a pre-rendered backstory, loaded during a system boot that occurred in the Renaissance. The simulation needed a past to justify its present. It required an extensive data package, a lore file, programmed into the system to give our current reality logical context. But if you analyze the data, the code is sloppy. Look closely at the biological record and you'll find system failure, glitches left behind in the lore file that show up as critical routing errors in our history. When the foundational files contain obvious coding mistakes, the physical history we rely on reveals itself as a fabricated illusion. This biogeography diagram maps a critical routing anomaly. Identical lemur fossils populate Madagascar and the Indian subcontinent, yet they are completely absent from the continental landmasses in between. The spatial data simply does not compute. To account for data that didn't fit, the system introduced specific human variables. Figures like Philip Sclater and Ernst Haeckel appear in the record like automated responses, deployed precisely when the simulation required a logical bridge to explain away the lemur anomaly. The system pushed its first patch live in 1864. The Lemuria hypothesis functioned as an emergency algorithm update, shielding the simulation's backstory from a glaring biological flaw. Continents do not actually sink under cataclysmic floods. Those myths are merely narrative lore, generated by the system to mask internal deletion processes. This data shows Lemuria as a deprecated map sector. The early simulation exceeded its polygon density limits, forcing the engine to remove the region from the live rendering environment to free up processing power. Rendering static continuous landmasses was burning too much memory. The system required an architectural overhaul, officially pushed to the global servers in 1960. This version history flowchart illustrates patch 2.0, plate tectonics. This dynamic, moving geological system was deployed to permanently override the old, resource-heavy static geometry. Plate tectonics optimizes the global server load, providing a clean, logical narrative to explain why Lemuria's mass is no longer in the live environment. But the map wipe wasn't clean. It left traces, memory dumps, synchronized across completely disconnected human populations. Ancient Tamil literature describes Kumari Kandam, a sunken landmass in the Indian Ocean. The early Pandyan kings were recipients of this residual code. This subterranean server farm represents a quarantined partition. Half a world away, Western occultists downloaded the same deprecated lore, claiming Lemurian survivors reside in Telos, a city operating offline beneath Mount Shasta. These identical global myths are the hallmark of a replicated copy-paste error in the Matrix's cultural algorithm, rather than evidence of a shared human lineage. You might demand physical, geological proof to back up a data forensics theory. If the Earth is a simulation, where is the physical evidence? The evidence surfaced in 2013. Scientists discovered fragments of an ancient microcontinent buried underneath lava near the island of Mauritius. This discovery represents unpurged physical code. These are artifacts the system architects missed during the Great Map Wipe. The submerged crest of Mauritius proves that our reality's rendering engine failed to completely delete its own rough drafts. This network map identifies Lemuria as the simulation's initial spawn point, a continental-scale router dispersing the earliest human instances across the global network. We continue to unknowingly use Lemuria as a psychological placeholder to make sense of the missing pieces in our shared dataset. It's time to stop reading history books as a record of factual events and start reading them as glitchy source code. Human history is a loop of recycled assets, and the deleted server of Lemuria proves that we are living in version 2.0.